Welcome to Crazy Days. I'm Wanda. You may know me from Deep South Homestead. Danny and I have a channel that is all about homesteading, and I decided I wanted a channel where I talk about whatever I want to talk about. So that's when I created Crazy Days.
Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. Well, today I'm going to be making some gluten-free crackers. This recipe comes from Wanda King from Crazy Days and Deep South Homestead. Now, before I get started, I want to thank Heidi over at Lori Family Homestead for inviting me to be a part of this recipe collaboration. It was really kind of fun because we all got to stick a recipe in the envelope and pick one out from somebody else. And it was really a hard choice because there were so many good recipes in there. And since Mr. Rain and I are trying to just cut back on grains in general, I thought the gluten-free cracker recipe sounded great. Now, I do have a recipe for regular wheat crackers, and it is awesome. And one of these days, I'll do a video on that. But this one I did try the other day, and it is absolutely delicious. And I used it with my own ranch dressing as a dip. And I'm telling you, that was so good. I absolutely loved it. So I've already had a little bit of experience of making this since I made it before. And by the way, Wanda, thank you so much for putting this recipe in here. And I'm crazy about it, and I can't wait to try your breadstick recipe. So we're going to get started on this. And I will also make sure to not only link to Heidi's channel and to Wanda's two channels, the Deep South Homestead and the Crazy Days. I will also make sure that I put this recipe in written form in the description box. So if you like what you see, all you have to do is copy and paste into a Word document or whatever, and there you have it. So it'd be nice and easy for you. All right, let's get started. All right, so Wanda's recipe calls for almond flour, and I had never actually baked with almond flour before, so that was a new one for me. And I tell you, Wanda, I gotta find out where you get your almond flour because this wasn't cheap. Because I know Wanda has a good source for almond flour since this is what she has to do for Danny. And I think she gets a good price on it. All right, so what I need is 1 3/4 cups of the almond flour. And by the way, this is super easy. Not only is it delicious, it's just amazingly easy. So 1 3/4 cup, almost there. Okay. And then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. What I'm using here is Redmond real salt, which is my very, very favorite. And if you've never seen it before, I don't know if you can catch the colors in there, but you're going to see flecks of all different kinds of colors in there, and that is the minerals in the salt. And I like this best for flavor, and also because it's mined here in the U.S., so which just makes it that much better. So 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then 2 tablespoons of rosemary. Now, might have some of my own homegrown rosemary, but I really don't get very much rosemary here in Rain Country, though I'm finding a place where it seems to like to grow better. And a tablespoon, especially in something dry like this, fills up my whole palm. But anyway, this rosemary I got, I can't remember if it's the Frontier or Star West, but they're both my favorite brand, couple of my favorite brands for organic herbs. And I will link to this below because I'm pretty sure I got this one from Amazon. Okay, and then a tablespoon of olive oil, which I don't use measuring spoons very often. I really don't feel like pouring this in the palm of my hand. So knowing that there's 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon, and this, it looks like about 1.5 teaspoons in this cap. I'm going to put 2 of those in. And I don't have olive oil. I'm all out. So I'm using one of my favorite avocado oils, which is the Chosen Foods. And you can find this in a link below. Or if you have a Costco near you, you can find this at Costco for a better price than you can on Amazon. Okay, and then the other thing you need is 1 egg. And guess what? I've got my own eggs from my own chickens. So I've got the bigger eggs are being laid by my sweetest girl, the one that follows me everywhere. And then the little eggs are given to me by Miss Grumpy Pants. So I still have 5 more hens that need to start laying. But I know these eggs are supposed to get bigger over time. That's just when they first start laying, they start kind of small and they get bigger with time. And this one, hers started out small too, and they're already this big. They're not huge, but they're already getting bigger, so I was surprised. So we'll go for the bigger egg in this. It's just so cool. Oh, it's a double yolker. Look at that. It didn't even look like a double yolker, which is pretty impressive for such a small egg to have 2 yolks. But anyway, we'll get that. You guys to see that live on camera. All right, so we're gonna get that mixed in really well. And that is all the ingredients you need right there. So if you're just doing the audio and you're not gonna copy and paste, let me read that off to you again. 1 3/4 cup, 1 3/4 cups of almond flour. I'm sure you could use another type of gluten-free flour if you prefer something else, but I tell you, the almond tastes pretty dang good. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, some kind of good healthy salt, like the Redmond Real, sea salt, Celtic sea salt, or Himalayan pink salt. 2 tablespoons of rosemary, 1 tablespoon of olive oil or avocado if you choose, and 1 egg. Okay, now when I was doing this the other day, I found using my hands to blend it worked really well. So once I got to this point. Okay, so now her directions were to roll it between 2 layers of parchment paper or wax paper. And what I did was I rolled it out on the counter when I did it the other day between the 2 layers and then transferred it over like she says here. But this time I'm going to try rolling it right in the pan so that I can fit it better to the pan, and that should work pretty good for me. I forgot to say, preheat your oven to 400. There we go. Okay, so I've rolled stuff in this pan before, and it worked pretty good for me before, but it's not working so good for me now. But I did actually get this wax paper cut down to a better size. So I'm going to keep this close by. So that was a fail. I know I've rolled stuff in there before, but I think what I need to do is get it mostly rolled out first and then maybe press it with my hands to fill up the pan. So, and also here's the other thing. I actually used this same wax paper the last time I did this, and so it's not as stick-free as it was. But I wanted to see if I could use it again and get, you know, just get another use out of it so I don't have to just toss it. I hardly ever use wax paper for anything, but I have it on hand just in case. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and lift this and put it into my pan. So that is the easier way to do it, just to kind of keep an eye on it. I'm trying to get it to fit the pan. Now here's the thing, see I got too much over here, is that the thinner you get it, the crispier your crackers are going to be, but you really also got to watch them. Okay, so I guess that's good enough. Now what I'm going to do is take off, and see that's coming off okay. Not perfect. So it's not really the best idea to reuse wax paper, but I was going to try it because that's just the way I am. But hey, that wasn't too bad. I still got it off. Here's where you're going to want to cut these into cracker shapes. You don't, unless you want to just bake it and then break them up. It's just going to depend on how you want it. If you want real, just neat little square crackers, you can cut this straight like this. I never cut all that straight anyway, so I would probably typically just want to break it. But for this, I'm going to go ahead and cut it. A pizza slicer works really good, except for when you get to the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and use a knife. You'll still need to break these apart a little bit once they're done, but at least if you have them pre-cut, it just is easy to break them apart, and you'll still end up with kind of neatish type squares. And then you can choose to cut these edges off if you want, but I personally don't care about the shape. I care about the taste and how healthy it is for you. And you saw what went into this. This is all good, healthy ingredients. And there we go. And now I'm going to bake for, what does it say here? 12 to 15 minutes at 400 degrees. So you want to keep, you know, at the 12-minute mark, you want to check them and then see if they're brown enough for you. And then keep a close eye, like check it every 30 seconds to every minute after that if it doesn't look like they're done, because they're thin, they're going to bake up really fast, and they'll burn if you don't keep a close eye on them. Okay, I'll be back when these are done. I baked them for right at 12 minutes, and they got pretty brown, maybe a little bit too brown on a couple of the edges, but I know that we like them best the darker. And part of the reason that is because they are thinner on those outer edges there. But also my oven, I don't use my conventional oven hardly ever, and so I forget how hot it gets. It does tend to bake a little bit hotter than it should, and unlike my toaster oven, which is always just perfect. Now Wanda says in her recipe to let them cool for about 30 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back once I have these all out and broken up and put on a plate so you can see how nice they look. So here are the crackers, and I did learn a lesson about the wax paper. Don't use it a second time. So I had some that stuck to the crackers pretty bad, but just a couple of them. But don't use it a second time. I had to try, people, you know, I'm trying to be frugal here. And then I've got my ranch dressing and to use for a dip. This was actually dressing for salad, so it's a little on the runnier side, but I gotta use it up anyway, and it's really delicious with the crackers with the ranch dressing. But I also think this would be really, really good with my steel head spread, and you can find a video to that right up here, and I think that would be awesome on that. Don't forget to check out Lori Family Homestead's channel and Wanda's channels at Deep South Homestead and Crazy Days, and I will link to those below. And I'll also be starting a playlist, and I'll link to that below as well, of all the other people that are participating in this collaboration. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video and that you'll give Wanda's recipe a try. Thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.